trash can. So, let's see what's next.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Yeah, that probably isn't... Yeah, that doesn't normally happen, does it?
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but... the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
Oh. Fish the dog.
3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
A lot of was this a frog that died?
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
He died 2010. She was only 10. He was only 11. Yeah, that's definitely not what happened. Walter, have we seen him yet? Oh yeah, Walter was the last guy we saw. Barbara.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Where do I go from here? Not off the edge. Do not want to do that. Is there
Edie's
another?
side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Oh, it's the
But
big
looking
tree.
back on it now,
Last time we were here, we were a cat.
if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh, she's pregnant. Oh, you better be careful. Best to get off that fast. Oh, that's why her belly's big. I thought
I never met
thought that was
Grandpa
just
Sam,
perspective.
but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend. Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime. Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are. Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee. Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
How
You
long
know who else
is
thought he was
that?
gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being Dad.
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Where?
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up, elbows down, like we practiced. Whenever you're ready.
Oh,
Great shot, Don!
wow! Took that picture right as it got hit. Is he really taking a selfie for? Okay.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Oh.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Oh wow. Yeah, that sucks. Hmm.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
What's this? Little door. But I wanted to... Let me explore the room this a little bit more. I barely looked at it. This camera.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting the doors are all sealed shut, like I can just open it. Now I can see where this little... Oh, we're in the attic? Attic? Yeah, attic maybe?
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Me and Sam divorced.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
time to...
I was controlling the frog.
Hold on, sweetie. Hello?
What, is he telekinetic?
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
Wow. Can I get on top of this whale?
It sure made him happy.
I'm supposed to get that soap. Not quite. Not quite.
I know how silly it sounds.
Wow.
But I worried about the baby being too happy.
Bubbles.
I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Do I want to see what's next?
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand
Poor Gregory.
about Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
This is depressing.
I'm sure he's happy.
What?
He'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
That one's depressing. He was only 2 years old. He was only 3 years old.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Am I able to like ruin the wedding like this? No. No.
When the time for photos came,
This is a
Dad
huge
ordered
kite.
him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power, but all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
With a red mohawk. Greg, be a baby.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
India.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Not
My
my
mom
first
moved
pick.
to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English.
India's not my
Louis was
first
born a
pick,
year
but
later.
hey, everyone like is interested in something different. I don't want to go down there.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Louis rules.
But it didn't last.
Trying to look out the window here. It's a really nice view.
beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
This is really cool. Is there a way to get in here? There has to be a way. There has to be like a secret passage. There's a secret passage for everything else. There has to be a way to get in here. Please tell me you're not gonna climb. Okay. Are you gonna climb the ivy? Oh, you're gonna go into the. I missed the window first place. Don't worry about that.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
That's a lot of work. That's cool. Wow, that would be hours. That'd be a long time, but that's pretty cool.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
What's the point of sealing the doors? I mean, I guess I kind of get the point, but still, I find it's interesting. It's interesting how she latched them shut and then glued them. Some very powerful glue. Have I been all the way upstairs yet?
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
This is really not safe.
Everyone always told me to stay out
Whoa.
of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Legalize marijuana? Well, they did in Washington and Colorado. Got what you want, Lewis.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Some cool posters, but
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
just a Finch. I feel like you guys are pretty exotic seeming. Have you seen your house and your family history? I feel like being a Finch is kind of
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
I feel like the Finches really have interesting history and...
Dear Mrs. Finch, As Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
What's that?
wander.
Oh.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously.
It's like he's playing a video game in his head.
But he found something more.
Wow.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery.
I wish... That's a vivid imagination.
I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Are you sure he's not still doing drugs?
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Yeah, we're getting close to taking up the whole screen.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination.
What if I just stopped
So
shopping?
he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Wow.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Queen?
handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for
Sinister serpents.
sinister serpents.
Definitely.
He followed the sound of her
Sitar.
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
It was some imagination, Lewis.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
If I had an imagination like this, that'd be really fun.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Yep, and this is his locker. Yeah, mini-sized posters.
He began to forget the world we know.
Uh-oh.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Oh wow, so he's coming up to himself. Okay. So he's a king. Oh yeah, he's King Lewis. And this is Lewis the cannery worker.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Oh no, what's gonna happen here?
I still thought I could save him.
He's not even shopping.
Even after he
Fish.
said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
I can't resist. I'm gonna go out
The palace
Okay.
would be packed with his companions.
faceless companions, but they're companions. They're probably better companions than headless salmon.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown. thing left to do.
This music is loud.
Then down his head.
That's a guillotine. That, yeah. Yeah, you're gonna...
And the rest I think you know. Mrs.
Ouch.
Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Yeah, he got so immersed in his own reality. Okay, maybe I don't want my imagination to be that good that I put my head in a fish cutter.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
That is too bad.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
I love games like this with so much story. And that's her dad. She wrote a book.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
Wow.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
I wouldn't want to leave either if you
the
lived
power
there.
had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
If
When my
my
mom sealed
house
the library, I don't
had
think she knew about the
towers
other
like that,
entrance.
I would not want to live there. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew the other entrance.
Or that Edie had a key to it.
I'm not hard as a
The
kid.
thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Gotta listen to the bell.
I got turned around.
It's impossible because I've been holding W. How did you get turned around? I've been holding W. When I hold W, that means you have to walk forward. You can't get turned around. Line
For
me.
a while, I wandered.
Eventually, you're gonna make it out to the ocean
I started
again.
seeing things.
This is
Things
a
I'd
thick
forgotten
fog.
had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
That's sad.
The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
Why can't I see in the front of the car?
After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
I used to do that all the time.
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
That's sad.
And then I was alone.
Well, you have your baby now.
The last
You're gonna have your
Finch
baby.
left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But
Well,
as it
seems
is,
like the Finches
I think
definitely
the best
don't.
we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Oh, I'm being born now.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh, no. 18. Died at 18. thank you guys so much for watching this video. This has been a longer video, but it was a really great game, and just that was a lot. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.